That means it is no use, for instance, using willpower alone to bring about a change at the material level, not even in one's own material level, one's own physical body. People who sincerely claim that they can do so and who truly seem to do so generally have a very strong, even if unconscious, emotional, that is, astral, drive in support of the supremacy of their will. But in one way or another, if the will or the intellect is to cause any change in the condition of the physical body without using physical means, then there has to be an astral link. Similarly, if we want to cause a change in the astral body, this has to be done by means of the rational mind. But it will be generally more effective if the physical body is involved in the procedure, so as to work up to the astral level as well as down to it. And can the physical and astral levels in any way influence the mental level? Strangely, but certainly, they can. We see intelligent people all over the world producing logical arguments to support the most diverse opinions in religion, politics, morality. If any of them change their attitude, it will not be because their reasoning is proved faulty. It will be because of a change in their emotional approach to the subject. Coming back to the subject of the astral body, we may consider how far it can be imagined as an exact replica of the physical body. In a sense, it is an exact replica, and there is certainly no harm in imagining it as such, although, as a general principle, we should do well to picture it always as a particularly strong, youthful, and healthy replica. But a vital feature of the astral body must here be pointed out. There are certain points in the physical body which have an evident and special affinity with more than the material level. A powerful emotional shock can act like a physical blow upon the solar plexus. Either the blow or the emotional shock could cause loss of consciousness. The same is true of the top of the head. They sat as if stunned instead of people who have received startling news, and sometimes pleasant news can stun as much as unpleasant, if it is startling enough. Different emotions can render a person for the time being literally speechless or choked with emotion, while the various emotional states associated with the heart are by no means only metaphorical. We know what is meant when someone is said to be warm-hearted, great-hearted, good-hearted, nor is this idea limited only to one language. To say that a person has been encouraged is to use a word that comes to us from the French, and it means exactly the same as to say he has been given new heart. French cœur equals heart. Another important meeting place of the astral and physical levels involves the sex organs. The power of either physical or emotional stimulus here to produce effects both physical and emotional is too well known to need further elaboration. There is also a further important center, in the middle of the forehead between the eyes, at the site of what is sometimes called the third eye. This is involved in the higher mystical development of the psyche, referred to in the ancient Chinese system of Tao as the opening of the golden flower, and even without such a complete development as that, it is employed spontaneously by many people in seeing with the mind's eye. In the physical body, this corresponds to the position of the pineal gland. At each of these points that we have mentioned, there is, in the physical body, a particular nerve center or glandular center. All of them, therefore, even at the physical level, are concerned in essential life functions, and because they involve the psyche as well, at its instinctual, emotional, or mystical levels, we should expect them to have important counterparts in the astral body. These counterparts exist, and indeed they are most important. They are not, however, mere replicas of the physical organs. Corresponding to the physical points which have been here mentioned, and to other points in the physical body as well, there are in the astral body certain distinctive organs, generally called chakras, or lotuses in Oriental occult systems, and centers of activity in Western systems. Like their physical counterparts, these centers of activity are vital gates between the levels of existence. Besides the everyday practice we have recommended of keeping the lines of communication open by talking in friendly fashion to your astral body and even to your physical body, there is a much more powerful and specialized practice which we shall give you in Chapter 3 for the purpose of strengthening these centers of activity and increasing the flow of energy between them. The reason why this practice is not given at once now is because you will derive more benefit from everything that you do in your training if you understand better why you are doing it. If you read these early chapters carefully, you will understand very well the reason for each step you take, and therefore you will be able to take it more effectively. You can, for the present, think of these centers of activity simply as globes of energy manifesting as white light and about 2 inches in diameter. There are other besides the ones we have mentioned. For instance, that at the base of the spine employed in the East does not come into our work, for there is one at the instep of each foot, which is important in our system of working, although for convenience we generally picture the 2-foot centers as one and call it the earth center. There is also a corresponding center in each hand, important in some types of magical work, but not for purposes directly necessary to astral projection. These globes of energy do not just float freely in the astral body. They are connected with the astral counterpart of the spine, and the astral counterpart of the spine is certainly the most important energy channel that we have. At this stage, a rather peculiar question may occur to you. From time to time one hears of apparitions which have every sign of being authentic, not always by any means apparitions or ghosts of people who have left this world, but quite often apparitions of people still living in their earthly bodies. You hear of people seeing an apparition of maybe a close relative or a friend who was for some reason deeply concerned about them at the time, who wanted to give some warning or some piece of news, or simply to be assured that all was well with them. Such a figure can be seen in dreams, or, usually one, only for a fleeting instant, while the person who sees it is awake. Such a figure may be only faintly seen, or for so short an interval that no details could be recalled, only the plain recognition. Or it may be seen quite clearly and distinctly, but never has anyone recorded the sight of such a figure showing anything like chakras. The word means wheels, or lotuses, or globes of energy anywhere on the face, head, or body. When spiritually evolved people are seen, and sometimes even when they are seen in their ordinary physical presence in certain circumstances, there may appear a light around the head or around the whole figure, or light may seem to proceed from hands or feet, sometimes being interpreted by the rational mind as jewels. But in no case is an astral figure seen with the actual chakras or centers of activity. If these are genuine apparitions, and in some cases we must say they are, and if the astral body really has these centers or chakras, and it really has, then why do these centers not show up clearly in these apparitions? We need not suppose they would look exactly like the spheres of energy that we visualize, but we would expect them to be definitely there. Surely these apparitions are astral. Yes, they certainly are. Surely they are sent out by the persons whom they resemble and who, maybe afterwards, admit to having felt the appropriate emotions even if they did not clearly know that they were doing anything. Yes, these apparitions are sent out, consciously or otherwise, by those persons. Then they are the astral bodies of those persons? No, they are not exactly that. The next chapter will explain more about the astral vehicle. Checkpoint number 1. Get into the habit of directing messages of love, goodwill, and encouragement to your instinctual and physical self, especially when suffering pain, sickness, stress, or fatigue. Make sure all such messages that you send are strong, reasonable, and positive.